He thought they'd reward him with a pet, but they brought him a beautiful alien girl. The celebration was loud, chaotic, and utterly alien. Sergeant Daniel Kerr sat cross-legged by the roaring fire, the scent of smoke and something spice-sweet rising in the air. Around him, the tall, scaled warriors of the Thauran tribe beat their drums and sang in their guttural, rolling language. They had painted their hides with glowing oils, their eyes glittering in the firelight. Dan smiled awkwardly. A week ago, he'd been bleeding out in the desert, shot through by raiders. The Thauran had found him, carried him back to their hidden canyon village, and saved his life with medicines that felt more magic than science. He hadn't expected gratitude, but he had given them something back. The raiders had attacked again, and Dan had stood with the Thauran. His rifle had barked fire and steel. His training filled in the gaps where their spears and bows faltered. When the smoke cleared, the Thauran's chief laid his massive clawed hand on Dan's shoulder and proclaimed him honor brother. And now, tonight, they were rewarding him. The chief stood, towering and resplendent in a cloak of shining scales. He raised his arms, speaking in deep, rhythmic tones. A translator drone buzzed by Dan's ear, relaying the words in halting English. Daniel Kerr, it rasped, the tribe honors your courage. You are one of us now, and so you shall be given a gift worthy of your place. Dan grinned nervously. A gift? He thought of stories from his childhood, warriors rewarded with gold, cattle, or, if he was lucky, maybe some kind of exotic pet. He had always wanted a companion animal, something to keep him company when deployments got long. When the drumming stopped, two warriors emerged from the shadows, carrying a covered litter. The crowd hushed. The chief's voice dropped low, almost reverent. We bring you a treasure of our people. The warriors set the litter before Dan and pulled back the woven cover. Dan blinked. His heart stumbled. It wasn't an animal. It was a girl, tall, slender, her skin a pale silver that shimmered under firelight. Long hair the color of starlight spilled over her shoulders. Her eyes, large, luminous, and violet, met his unblinking. She wore a simple robe of woven leaves and cloth, and a necklace of bone rested at her throat. Dan stared, stunned. The crowd erupted into cheers. The translator buzzed again. For the human who risked his life, we give you Lyra, daughter of the fallen house. She is yours. Dan's jaw worked soundlessly. He raised his hands. Wait, hold on, yours? As in, what do you mean yours? The chief rumbled, his teeth glinting. Mate, companion, bride. She will serve and stand by you until the sun's burn out. Dan's heart lurched into his throat. They're giving me a wife? He stammered. I thought maybe a hunting beast or a little critter that chirps. Not a person. Lyra tilted her head, watching him with quiet curiosity. She didn't look afraid. In fact, she seemed amused. The tribe roared their approval again, stomping the earth. To them, this was sacred, a bond deeper than blood. Dan swallowed hard. He stood, hands raised. Chief, I can't just accept this. She's not. She has her own choice, right? I'm not gonna... The translator stuttered to keep up with the chief's rolling laughter. She has chosen. The law is binding. She saw you fight. She named you. That is the way. Dan turned, startled. Name me? For the first time, the girl, Lyra, spoke. Her voice was low, musical, and though the words were foreign, the translator carried them with strange clarity. You bled for my people, she said. You did not run. You stood against fire and death. So I choose. You. Dan's breath caught. The way she said it, calm, unwavering. It wasn't submission. It was declaration. The firelight caught the shimmer of her eyes, and for a moment, Dan forgot to breathe. The celebration raged on around them, but Dan barely noticed. Lyra sat beside him, unafraid, sipping from a carved gourd of sweet drink. Every so often she glanced at him, studying him with those violet eyes. He finally found his voice. "You don't feel forced into this?" Her lips curved slightly. "Forced? No. Among my people, choice is sacred. A mate is not given without the heart's consent. You misunderstand your honor." Dan rubbed the back of his neck. "Yeah, I think I do. Where I'm from, marriage is a big deal. It's lifelong." Her gaze softened. "Then we are the same. Lifelong." He exhaled slowly. He wasn't sure if he was terrified, honored, or both. Days passed. Lyra walked with him through the canyon trails, showing him the hidden springs, the caves where glowing crystals grew. She laughed when he stumbled, steadying him with a touch warmer than he expected. She listened when he spoke of Earth, her head tilted, her lips parting in wonder when he described oceans, cities, and rain. And she taught him her language, patiently, carefully, until he could stumble through the simplest phrases. One night, under the stars, he managed it. "Lyra, I see you." Her eyes widened. Her fingers brushed his cheek, and she whispered something the translator didn't even need. "And I see you." But peace never lasted. Word came that the raiders were gathering again, this time with heavier weapons, stolen from off-world smugglers. The Thalrin prepared for battle, their drums echoing through the canyon. Dan checked his rifle, grim determination on his face. Lyra stood beside him, spear in hand, silver hair bound tightly. "You don't have to fight," he said, worried. She gave him a sharp look. "I am your chosen. Where you fight, I fight." He almost argued, but her grip on his hand silenced him. The battle was chaos. Fire tore the night apart, the clash of steel and screams shaking the canyon walls. Dan's rifle cracked shot after shot, dropping raiders left and right. But there were too many. A blast threw him to the ground. His ears rang, his vision blurred. Through the haze, he saw a raider raising a blade, aimed straight for him. And then Lyra was there. She moved like lightning, her spear flashing, piercing the raider's chest. She stood over Dan, fierce and unyielding, her violet eyes burning with fire. "You are mine," she growled, her voice shaking the air. "No one takes you from me." Dan's chest tightened, not with fear, with something far more dangerous. When the battle ended, the raiders fled, broken and beaten. The tribe cheered their victory. But Dan only saw Lyra, her hair matted with sweat, her robe torn, but her gaze steady as she helped him stand. He laughed, breathless. "You saved me." Her lips curved. We saved each other. And as the fires of victory burned high, Dan realized the truth. He had come here a stranger, a soldier adrift in an alien world. But now he wasn't alone. The tribe's gift had not been a pet, not even just a companion. It had been something far greater. A bond, a choice, a future. And when Lyra's hand slipped into his, warm and sure, Dan squeezed it tightly, no longer afraid.